Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Zoned by D'Antonio podcast. My name is Mike. Today's we got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things are not good when it comes to the university. Um, some things are good. We're going to talk about the basketball program, basketball team coming up in just a second. But let's get started with unfortunate things about the university. Um, so So Larry Nasser, just this entire mess that was going on at the university, the administration should be ashamed of themselves. The way they handle this Larry Nasser thing, they allowed a sexual maniac, a sexual abuser, to continue to work at Michigan State University for upwards of 2 decades, which is it's sickening. What he put a lot of those women through is just unimaginable, and he was given pretty much 200 years with his child pornography charges added on to that. So he'll be gone forever, which is um, which is good because this man does not deserve anything from anybody. Um, but the university should be ashamed of themselves. Okay, they did an investigation on Larry Nasser in 2014 and cleared the man. Okay, this I don't know if they're corrupt. I don't know what it is. Okay, Larry Nasser should have been gone the second that somebody said he sexually abused her, sexually abused somebody. Well, okay, and they should have done an investigation into him. They should have put him on leave. Okay, and he should have been gone. He should have been gone the second that happened. And shame on U.S. Gymnastics as well. Shame on them to let this man continue, continue to abuse their athletes. Shame on them. And shame on Michigan State University. The administration, it is a complete mess right now. All right. And, we'll talk about the football and basketball programs in just a second, but it is just a complete mess. And it's unfixable right now. The only thing you can really do is just clear house right now with the administration. All right. Make this place a safe place for athletes. Okay, and it started by getting rid of this man in the 1990s. It's unfortunate and it's unbelievable that this was going on there. All right, and it's something I've been putting off for a long time, but have to talk about it now. But because we got other things that are very important to our basketball and football program that are also going on. So what happened? ESPN outside the lines put out an article basically blasting the athletics programs for their handling on many sexual assault allegations against many Michigan State athletes from football to basketball. We're going to start with Mark D'Antonio's football program, and we'll get to Izzo in just a second. Mark D'Antonio, 16 football players were accused, and in the article, they said that not enough things were done for these women. And, if the ESPN article is true, D'Antonio should have resigned yesterday. And I'm not saying that it isn't true. I'm saying that maybe parts of it were over exaggerating because I know Mark D'Antonio. I don't know him personally. I know the man just by the way he coaches, okay, the way he takes guys in, and he is a father figure. Okay, he's not our Bryles. He's not this snarling, football only guy. He's a family man. He's the Coach Cal of college football. Really, he really is. And you know, for him to put an athlete above a woman is just he would not do that. I don't think. But if he did do that, he should be gone. There's no doubt about that. But I'm going to have to until concrete evidence comes out saying that D'Antonio knew about this and just looked the other way. I'm going to have to agree or not agree. I'm going to have to take the side of Mark D'Antonio, and I'm going to use the whole, you know, that this man is his integrity. That integrity, that's the one thing Michigan State football preaches is integrity. And I'm gonna trust him because you saw how he handled 2017. He handled it properly. Remember last June, four players, four starting caliber players from Michigan State were accused of sexual assault. They were immediately taken off the team, and it was taken care of correctly by Coach D'Antonio. That was a good thing for him. Coming off that 3-9 season, he could have easily just looked the other way there and just let those guys play because this year, if you're losing four starters from a 3-9 team with a young team, what are you going to go this year? 2-10? I mean, come on. All right, this is why I really do believe what Coach Antonio said, um, that that these 16 accusations are definitely true. But what Coach D'Antonio knew about, he reported to the correct authorities, the Title IX office at Michigan State University, or the proper authorities, East Lansing Police Department, or the campus police department. I'm going to trust Coach D'Antonio's words on this. As for Coach Izzo's in a tough place because with all the things going around at Michigan State, what happened to his program in 2010 is it's really going to hurt him because if this was an isolated incident, so basically what happened was Walton went to a bar and he tried to get some girl and the girl said no, so he punched her in the face. It just a classless move, a coward move, a sick move from Walton, the who was the a student assistant coach for Coach Izzo at the time. And basically, what happened was the judge cleared him to go travel with the team and coach. And it was said that Izzo and Walton had a conversation about this, and Izzo let him come back and coach for the rest of the season. And but don't get me wrong. I mean, Izzo, what happened with Izzo? That is not something Izzo should have done. He should have been off the team immediately. But one of two things I think was going on in Izzo's head. Either he did not know what Walton did, um, or he didn't know it was as bad as it was, so he just let him coach. Because Izzo's not a dumb man. Okay, he would not have an abuser, a domestic violence abuser on his coaching staff. Not just his coaching staff. He wasn't even a real coach. He was a student assistant coach. Okay, all right. He is not a dumb man. He would never do that. He would never do that. Okay. So I think this story really gets amplified when you think about how other things were handled at Michigan State by the administration, and just how many sexual abuse allegations have come out against football players and Larry Nasser. It gets amplified. If that happened to Coach Cal, would this really be a big story? Oh, he let a coach that knocked somebody out at a bar coach with him for an extra month before he wasn't allowed to coach again. No, I wouldn't think it would be a big story, but this really gets amplified by the other stories that were going on at Michigan State this week. So, do I think that D'Antonio and Izzo, do I think their programs will get sanctions, such as bowl bans or tournament bans? It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. It's really early. We are not sure if this is the only story coming out. If it is the only stories coming out, and D'Antonio is telling the truth about how he handled the cases, then I think there's a strong possibility Michigan State will get slapped on the wrist, and really nothing big will happen. Now, if more stories come out about sexual abuse, I think they're in big trouble. But if the damage is limited per se, I think Michigan State could get off with a slap on the wrist, possibly fines to the university. But it's hard for me to believe that Coach D'Antonio would just look the other way to sexual abuse, sexual assault allegations. It just doesn't make sense. All right, remember Art Briles at Baylor. Baylor was 10 times worse than Michigan State. Don't get me wrong. People are trying to say Michigan State's, Mark D'Antonio was Art Briles. No, Mark D'Antonio would never look the other way, I don't think, to a sexual assault allegation. You saw how he handled last year's accusations. He handled them correctly. He never tried to cover them up or anything. D'Antonio, all right. I just don't think he would do such a thing. He wouldn't. He's not that type of man. He's a man of integrity, all right. And like he said, he takes problems at MSU and he runs at them head first, right? He doesn't try to avoid them. Okay, he's not Art Briles who saw what his kids were doing and just let it happen. He's not Joe Paterno who let his assistant coach abuse little boys for 20 years. He's not those people, okay? He's not. And he's a father figure. I just don't think this would happen. And same with Izzo. Coach Izzo is one of the biggest parts of Michigan State. He would not do that either. But let's move on to something that really made me mad. So, Chat Sports is a popular podcast sort of site on YouTube, and they also have a website. They have a Michigan football report to talk about University of Michigan football and stuff like that. They have their own guy doing that, and they have a college football thing, NFL thing. Do a lot of things like that, but for them to use Barstool MSU as a reliable source, it really made me mad. Okay, when I saw this thing come out, this article, um, it made me mad because to make Barstool MSU a source on a story, I mean, that's low. That is low stuff. It really is. And Barstool MSU is a site where they post drinking videos. They post just stuff college kids do. Sex sort of videos. It's how could you trust this type of information? I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is. It's like trusting. It's like trusting Disney on a sports related issue. Oh, Disney said Tom Brady's retiring and we're gonna use this. I mean, come on. All right, the media cannot be like this. All right, and it wasn't just Chat Sports. Other places were using Barstool MSU as a source, which I had an argument with many Michigan fans on. Um, there was no chance that Izzo or D'Antonio were retiring. They are men who take this stuff head on, and I know they're both 62, and Izzo turned 63 coming up soon. They still got years left to coach at their schools. So, um, but to trust Barstool MSU as a source, it blows my mind. Let's move on to some basketball related stuff. So, Michigan State defeated Wisconsin 76-61 last night. It was a good game for Michigan State. The student section wore teal to pay respects to the victims of Larry Nassar, which was a good thing to see from the student body. I'm glad they were able to organize like that. I know teal shirts aren't really widely around, and it's good to see the student body doing something like that. We'll get to the game in just a second, but what did with all this allegations going on, Tom Izzo having to deal with Mark Hollis, the athletic director, and the president, Nuana, what's her name, both resigning. I think Hollis actually retired, but Izzo was close to both of them, and I'm sure it's been a really hard week for him. Um, because he's close to them, and I didn't know how this team would respond. Were they going to come out flat against Wisconsin? Maybe even get upset by Wisconsin? And but they came out pretty well. And Miles Bridges set the tone early. He had some big shots early in this game. We'll just go for the stats a little bit. Go to the stats a little bit for this game. Look at for Michigan State. Miles Bridges was terrific. He had 24 points in 33 minutes. He was 8 for 13 from the field and 4 for 6 from 3. That's exactly the type of performance you need every game from Miles Bridges. He set the tone early, and other guys really played into that as well. The other guys in the starting lineup. Cassius Winston was very good in this game. 3 for 4 from 3. He had 17 points and 6 assists and 3 rebounds for Cassius Winston. Josh Langford, a little bit disappointing, only 8 points. They need Langford big. He's been a little bit of a funk. Came out of that a bit against Illinois. They need him down the stretch if they want to win anything, really. So, Jaren Jackson, another monster game. He had 4 blocks, 11 points, 5 or 7 rebounds. But I think the most underrated guy in this game was Nick Ward. Nick Ward was 6 for 9 for the field. He had 12 points. He was terrific. It wasn't just the points. He had 11 rebounds and 5 blocks. You don't think of a 6'9" Nick Ward as a shot blocker. He's become one of the best shot blockers out there. Michigan State has 3. They have 4, 5, 6 terrific shot blockers. It starts with Nick Ward, Jaren Jackson. Miles Bridges is a terrific shot blocker as well. You look on the bench, Ben Carter's, he's more of an guy who doesn't play that much. He played 5 minutes today. Gavin Schilling's a terrific shot blocker. Tillman's a good shot blocker. And another thing that was promising for Michigan State was 19 assists. Assists are big in games like this against tough defenses. You got to get your own shot from a good offense. You can't just go iso ball the entire game. And I think they did a good job with that. Bench only had 4 points in the entire game, all by Matt McQuaid. They have to get better bench production than that, and I know Coach Izzo understands that. And this is one of the best benches, I believe, in the nation. McQuaid, Tum Nairn, Goings, Schilling. All these guys were very good players, and Schilling's got Final Four experience. This team, I was surprised. Maybe I thought they were going to come out flat a bit. Surprised a bit. The way they came out, I was pleasantly surprised. It got a little bit close in the second half, but they pulled away late. And they, once again, played terrific defense. Held Wisconsin to 36% shooting, 20% shooting from 3. Wisconsin was only 5 for 24 from 3, and you're not going to beat Michigan State when you're only shooting 5 for 24 from 3. So that was a good game for them. Let's move on to Maryland. Tomorrow they play 1 Eastern Time, 12 Central Time at Maryland in College Park, Maryland. As you can see, Kevin Huerter, one of Maryland's best players. Michigan State beat Maryland 91-61 on January 4th. And I'm going to continue to look at the stats in that game. What went well in that game? That's going to hopefully give Michigan State a good chance to win. And in that game,